Hello, everybody. So we know the Green Party are absolutely just insane. Eamon Ryan and the rest of the Green Party are just literally insane. Like, they have the most ludicrous things to come up with. And this is one of the same, but it's not the Green Party's Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael at the same time. We all know that what they say for T, they give them 56 million in a loan just to keep them going, basically, just to keep them going, even though they could just let them founder and collapse. Only for the government giving them that 56 million. OT would have collapsed probably by next year. Suppose that they wouldn't have been able to sustain the losses. Obviously, they're facing huge financial difficulties, which is not much loss. Nobody really cares with OT. They've shown time and time again they're against. They're always pro-establishment, always pro-government. They're never going to go against the government. They're obviously not going to bite the hand that feeds them. But they're anti-people. They're pro-government but anti-people. They're not supporting the people. They always go against anything that's against the government. They will never air. You never hear your opinion. They just call you far right extremist, etc., etc. Just hashing them lines out. But so the Green Party, particularly Catherine Martin, the Minister for Media, has basically come out and said that they want to increase, they want to basically, instead of the TV license, right, probably along with the TV license, let's be fair, they want to literally give everything to RT at this stage just to keep them going because they're the mouthpiece for the government. And if they are gone, as one TD said in the Oireachtas, what happens if an independent media company that's not funded by the state takes over and starts asking questions? We're in serious trouble. Then let's put it that way. You can't be gaslight by RT. You might have other media companies actually questioning stuff, and we couldn't have that. We couldn't have that. But anyway, long story short, they talk about the 10 to 15 euro increase a month on your phone bill. Take, for example, very few people have a phone line or a landline. I presume it's by mobile phone too they're talking about if you don't have a broadband. And particularly the top of broadband. This is the thing, and I know Ninja Knight actually mentioned it on Twitter, and it actually rings true. I've heard time and time again from RT, from the government, that they're absolutely just waging with the hate speech bill and stuff, that they're waging that people actually are taking for themselves and actually chatting online and stuff like that. What I'm doing here, they absolutely despise that people are not just nodding away and saying, oh yeah, I agree with the government, I support the government, I support the current thing. They don't agree with that. They rather just you be told by RT what to take and when to take and how to take and how to react, basically. Instead of you having a brain, having a brain for yourself and think for yourself. They don't want that. So, obviously, if they increase, say, for example, I pay 40 something euro, it's actually more than 40 something euro, it's about 60 something euro a month for the broadband. Take, for example, if they add an extra 15 euro on a month, we're talking about 80, 70 something euro maybe. And to a lot of people, that's unaffordable. That's unaffordable. Like the common person that's working a 9 to 5 job, that's, we're getting a few, maybe 400 at most a week, and has to pay for the rent, has to pay for the electricity, etc. Except maybe has a child, has to pay for them, food for them, and different things, phone bill, for your mobile phone, Netflix. It does add up. 15 euro a month adds up, and we have to state the elephant in the room here. The reason why they're doing this is because nobody pays the TV license. Nobody trusts OT. We've seen time and time and again they've betrayed people. They've shown the utter contempt for people, like literally laughing in your face, thinking that where the biggest foot is going. Well, to be totally honest, they are the biggest foot is going because in a few years' time, if the government get their way, they will support it. But most likely, sooner or later, that 56 million can only go so far because OT is in extreme trouble. That's only basically keeping them afloat by a bit. It's not going to keep them afloat forever. So, and they can't imprison 500,000 people for not paying the TV license. They simply can't, even though they would love to do that, but, it's not feasible. So, and they're not stupid, they know that. So, that's what they're trying to do here. And I do think it's because they're trying to stop people communicating. I know it's a far-right conspiracy theory, of course, but as OT would say, this is the narrative they're going with. But no, it actually rings true because OT have said time and time and again, people there's too much free speech on Twitter and stuff like that. We couldn't have that. That's a danger to democracy, and you're just like, what? But yourself, you hear it every day on the radio and OT that the crying and whinging and quipping and crying that actually people can speak for themselves and stuff and they won't need OT to speak for them. They don't like that, obviously. It's not good for business for OT. But we all know what they're basically one and the same with the government. Whatever the government press officer, whatever they're told to put out, they put out without a question. Sometimes maybe they do a bit of journalism, but very rarely. Sometimes they get it taught in their head and actually do something. But the vast majority of the time they just repeat whatever the government press office says. They go to the press office, no questions whatsoever. Just repeat whatever they say, even though it's blatant lines. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. And then if anybody criticizes you, attack, attack, attack. Instead of just questioning, saying, are these people right in what they're saying? Instead of attacking, calling them far-right extremists, etc., etc., etc. It's just common tactics from OT. And as the end of the day, what they should do, and I've said this from the beginning, is to have a subscription, so it's like Netflix and stuff. You pay every month, but it's people that would use it, and we all know straight away they won't do that, because at most, this is being generous. You've seen with CNN Plus, that went well. It lasted a month or two. OT would barely last maybe 6 months at that stage. It'd be on literally life support, because barely, and I mean barely, people would rather Netflix than OT. Let's put it that way. It'll last 6 months at most, 4 months at most, because there'd be only about maybe at most 2,000 people would pay. Take for example, if it's I don't know, 20 something euro a month. Let's give or take €25 a month or something like that. Nobody's going to pay that to listen to OT and to be lectured by OT and your white privilege and stuff like that. Nobody's going to do that to be lectured, and to be told what to take and when to take. And nobody's going to do that. Simple as that. So they know that they're not that tick. They know straight away if they've done that in the morning, 6 months, that's the end. OT's gone, finished, out. But they nearly are finished. But it will just literally shoot themselves in the foot very quickly. But yeah, as I say, OT is lucky, like the extremely lucky. In my opinion, the government should have just let them sort their own mess out and not give them the 56 million. That's what I would have done if I was the Taoiseach. I would say, this is your own sinking ship. It's up to you to fix it. That's what I would say. And if you sink, that's the end of you, and good weddings. That's what I would say if I was the Taoiseach. Because OT, unless you build it from the ground up to be better than what it is at the moment, and just be completely independent, stop the state funding, stop the TV license, let them find their own revenue and stuff like that. But they won't do that, of course, because again, it's the mouthpiece for the government. But anyway, we see what happens with the Green Party, with what they were saying. But I have to say, they're in their own head, the politicians and stuff like that can well afford it, But to a lot of families, we have to just say it straight. Some people can't afford the TV license, and it's true, and some people just don't want to pay it, which is obviously fair enough, because let's be fair, not many people watch OT, not many people give a shit about OT and stuff like that, and don't want to fund it, because they're basically just a state propaganda machine. So why would you do that, And particularly when we see with them going off and spending luxury sandals and stuff, spending thousands on it. People are not very happy about it, so that way. Even though the government is just they're extremists, they won't want to pay for it because they're extremists, they're far right. Even though it's genuine answers that we need from the state broadcaster, because we've seen the luxuries to spend money on and stuff like that, and they've literally been living the life of Wiley, on the taxpayers' penny, on the TV license, and people walking for their money and stuff like that. These people in OT are just there on big salaries and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. But anyway, let me know what you think. We see what happens. I don't think so, because the Green Party knows themselves. They're not going to exist in a year time. Let's put it that way. They're just not going to exist. Nobody's going to vote the Green Party and roll out, and literally nobody. They've literally shot themselves every time in the foot. Eamon Ryan has literally done himself irreparable damage to the Green Party. They'd be lucky if they ever get one councillor or one TD elected to any a local authority, or even the Dáil or the Shan. They'd be lucky. They'd be literally lucky. And especially with the Green Councillor, we're restricting freedom for the common good. But what's the common good? Nobody ever asked. Nobody ever questioned it. OT, take an example of that too, just a perfect example. You think OT be what's the common good? We should do a big investigation, what's the common good? What's she talking about? But no, whiskers. That's it. Let's crickets at most. Thank you.